Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo!
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the divorce is official. Shakur Stevenson has dumped Eddie Hearn and will now be working with Lou Dibella in his very next fight. And boy, oh boy, there's a lot to say about Lou Dibella. But before we talk about Lou, I want to give my thoughts on why Shakur Stevenson possibly decided to dump Eddie Hearn. Now, most likely it has something to do with the Shakur Stevenson-Williams Zepeda fight. If you guys recall, when the news first surfaced, Oscar De La Hoya, he came out accusing Shakur Stevenson of turning down the Zepeda fight. Well, Shakur, he responded to Oscar and he said, "Is that what they told you? Turkey promised me a number and now he's going way back on that number that he promised me and sending his towel boys to run me the info instead of telling me straight up what he's trying to do. I don't bow down to nobody, Mr. De La Hoya. Now let's negotiate." And then he follows that up by saying, "I want this fight so bad that these dudes want to take advantage of me by giving me way less money than I got for Josh Padley just because they know how bad I want it." Going way back on that number. Now, Eddie Hearn, he comes out and he says something almost completely different than what Shakur Stevenson said. I would have expected Eddie Hearn to at least try to make it seem like he's siding with Shakur Stevenson because he is Shakur's promoter after all. I mean, you guys got to think about it. When it comes to Eddie Hearn, he goes out of his way to defend Canelo Alvarez no matter how bad Canelo Alvarez looks in front of the public. And he doesn't even promote Canelo Alvarez anymore. In fact, Canelo Alvarez, remember, he went on record saying that Al Heyman and PBC, they're the best promoters in the business. And Eddie still went to bat for Canelo Alvarez. So when it came to Shakur Stevenson, Eddie Hearn, he came out and he said, you know, the thing is, the fight was originally supposed to be in Saudi Arabia, but now the fight is in New York. And that's the reason why there's a money discrepancy, basically. And this is something to this day that Shakur Stevenson has never corroborated. And the fight being in New York, it doesn't really explain why Shakur Stevenson would be getting way less money. I mean, Shakur, once again, he's saying that they were trying to pay him less money than they paid him for the Josh Padley fight, which would almost be like giving Canelo Alvarez more money to fight William Skull than to fight Canelo Alvarez. So it's possible that Shakur Stevenson is not happy with the way Eddie Hearn addressed that situation. So while Shakur breaks up with Eddie Hearn, he makes up with Turki Al-Sheikh. It's been reported that Shakur Stevenson, he's supposed to make around $5 to $7 million for this fight against William Zepeda. So Shakur Stevenson, he hires Lou Dibella as his new promoter. And what is the job of a promoter? A promoter's job is to promote the fight, sell the fight, right? But look at the things that Lou Dibella has gone on record saying about Shakur Stevenson. Here's one of his posts right here. He says, "As good as he is, I don't enjoy watching Shakur's fights. Good night. #boxing. This is why I say to you guys all the time, the most dangerous weapon in the world is a microphone and a camera. And posting statements on the internet is also obviously in that category. And it's not just one post. Lou Dibella has said things like this about Shakur Stevenson multiple times on the internet. And now he's being hired to promote the guy that he claims he doesn't even like to watch. I mean, the level of irony right there is just through the roof. And listen, guys, I've already completely broke this down in my video, Code Words. If you haven't watched that video, you gotta watch it because it is extremely educational. But going back to Lou Dibella, you know, here's the thing about some of the white people that call Shakur Stevenson boring. When it comes to, let's just start with Teddy Atlas, for example, because Teddy Atlas, he used to always go out of his way to call Shakur Stevenson boring. And when I used to hear Teddy Atlas call Shakur Stevenson boring, the crazy thing is Teddy Atlas is not just a boxing analyst, but he was a boxing trainer that had been training boxers for years, for decades. Remember when Teddy was on ESPN and he would do those demonstrations showing what boxer A has to do or what boxer B has to do to win? With all the knowledge that Teddy is supposed to have, he's supposed to be telling Shakur Stevenson what he's not doing and what he's supposed to be doing. That is the job of a boxing trainer. Teddy never gives an analytical breakdown when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. He doesn't say, I want to see him throw more combinations. He needs to throw more body shots, etc., etc. The reason why Teddy doesn't try to point out any flaws when it comes to Shakur Stevenson is because he doesn't see any. The only thing that Shakur could do that would excite Teddy Atlas is get knocked out or lose. Now, I watched Teddy Atlas's video that he did when he recorded himself watching the Lomachenko-Teofimo Lopez fight live. He does commentary as he's watching the fight, right? So I couldn't wait to watch this video because all the times that he had called Shakur Stevenson boring before that, I wanted to see how he was going to justify not calling Lomachenko boring, even though Lomachenko moved around the ring, almost not throwing any punches for the first 6 rounds. And as expected, Teddy never called him boring. He never said he was disappointed with Loma's inactivity. He had nothing negative to say about Loma at all. So we know what he means when he uses that word boring to describe Shakur Stevenson. And to give you an even better example, just remember, just in case you guys didn't know this, Teddy Atlas, he used to despise Floyd Mayweather. He actually hated Floyd Mayweather more than he hated Shakur. But I will say this about Teddy Atlas, there is a distinction from him and other old media members. After I made my videos exposing Teddy Atlas when it comes to his double standards, and other people started to pick up on it, he got so much backlash on the internet that now he's real careful with what he says on a microphone. And that can't be said for a lot of other race fans. And by the way, Shakur Stevenson hiring Lou Dibella as his promoter, after what Lou Dibella has said about him, it would be like him deciding to hire Teddy Atlas as his trainer after what Teddy Atlas has said about him. Now, I don't know exactly how the business works when it comes to looking for someone to promote your next fight. So I don't know if Shakur decided to hire him because he had no one else to work with. I don't know. But he did it. And at the end of the day, because Shakur Stevenson, he already has a big name, and this is a big fight against William Zepeda, it really sells itself. And Shakur's name sells his own brand. But the whole reason I made the Teddy Atlas example, that was a segue going into my Lou Dibella example, because I was going to make the same point. Teddy Atlas, he's a trainer. So instead of calling him boring, why don't you tell us what he needs to do to impress you personally in the ring, right? Same thing with Lou Dibella. Lou Dibella is a boxing promoter. So instead of telling the public that Shakur Stevenson is boring, why don't you tell us what type of opponents you want to see him face? What type of matches you want to see him involved in? Since you're a promoter, if you're going to criticize him, tell us what you think that he needs to do to entertain you personally. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODkey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.